Hair embroidery is one of my favorite subjects here on this channel. I often get asked how to embroider curly hair, and in this video I will show you the easiest method to achieve curly hair. For this method you need a twisted thread, meaning you can't do this with regular stranded embroidery floss. The key here is that the thread consists of multiple strands of thread that are firmly twisted together. Many knitting yarns are like that. To check if they are suitable for curly hair, unravel the individual strands. If they form nice curls, you can use it. I recommend using a big needle and thick thread. You can also leave the thread fairly long. My favorite method for hair embroidery is the turkey knot, or also called turkey stitch. Here I am deciding on the length of the hairstyle. Always make the threads a bit longer as intended. It is much easier to cut threads shorter than to add more length. I go with about 1 inch added length. Make the first stitch at the top of the hairline. Then bring the needle up right beside it. The end of the thread lays on top of the fabric. Make a short stitch toward the middle of the head. Then bring up the needle on the hairline again. Now cut the thread at the same length as the first end and start a new stitch pair. If you have seen my previous hair embroidery videos, you might notice that I'm working this project slightly differently. For this portrait I have irregular lines and also thicker threads. Stitching this way makes it easier for me to get the shape right, especially around the ears. Technically, this method is not the real turkey stitch, but it is worked similar to it. Stitch your way along the hairline. I like to end a couple of threads inside the hand. This helps to create more volume for the hair and to cover the fabric underneath. For the part where the hair is tucked behind the ears, make some loose stitches from the top to the ear, then bring the needle up on the other side of the ear and cut the end. I always start the thread on the right side, make a short stitch and then add a strand of hair to the ear part. It might look like this would not hold safely, but trust me, the short stitch holds everything in place. Don't overdo it with the extra strands behind the ears. If you stitch too many, the threads will look bulky and weird later. 2 or 3 are enough in my case. Now it is time to add in the curds. Pick up each thread and separate the individual strands from each other. Depending on your thread, this might be easier or more difficult. I found it worked best to use a needle for this. Then part the strands I want to separate at the base and go all the way up. Because the strands are twisted so much, they keep their curly appearance after separation. In this portrait I'm using vintage soft embroidery thread. I tried it with pearl cotton and soft knitting yarn too, and it worked just fine. You can brush the hair to get the right hairstyle for your portrait, but keep in mind that the single threads are now more prone to breaking. I cut off the ends of the threads to make the hair look more evenly. Small embroidery scissors work great for this purpose. It usually looks more natural to snip off individual threads than to cut off all threads to the same length at once. I find this method very easy to use and look forward to experiment with more hair textures. You can use this technique for shorter hair too. For short hair, I would add some more threads in the midsection of the head to cover the fabrics better. If you are interested in hair embroidery, I recommend watching my other hairstyle videos.